In 2020, I was doing my final year in undergrad, and I was just about to finish my degree. However, it was unfortunate that I had lost my father during the peak of COVID during that time. And before I even start with my testimony, today I woke up with a heavy spirit because my father passed away on a Sunday. So even in the first service, it was so heavy because every Sunday, my family and I, we think about the moments we shared with my dad because it was on a Sunday when he took his final breath. However, from the day he passed on until today, my body has been on autopilot. But I knew one thing during 2020, I need to finish my degree in honor of my dad. I remember I was with my mom when I got my results that I passed my degree and I was accepted into the honors program. The first thing I did was cry. I cried because it's like everything that my father and I have ever dreamt about and talked about. Then 2021 came. It became difficult each and every day to live without my dad. I was 21. I'm the last born in the family. And I asked God, why did he take away my dad on my birthday? The last day I saw my dad was on my birthday. And I couldn't see my dad because I was living at the university. So I could only see him on my birthday. We had planned to meet up just before he passed. And God took him 4 days after he just turned 50. I asked God, why will I be the only child that doesn't have a picture with her father on graduation day when all my other siblings have a picture with him? So I grew in anger and hatred towards God. I stopped coming to church, and I made excuses saying that I'm studying all the time. I stopped believing that God even existed and told God that I don't need him. For a period of 6 months, I went into severe depression, but I wore a smile on my face and nobody knew. I lived in a dark cloud without purpose. Now, during that period, I was doing my honors, the year I had dreamt about. I remember telling God that I don't need him because he wasn't there when my father was gasping his last breath. He was not there when COVID hit my family. And everything I've ever been through as a child, many of you know my story. Many of you know that I went through trials and tribulations as a child. And I was tired of being God's strongest soldier. Then in my June paper, I had a revelation. I had a panic attack during that paper, and I remember I couldn't speak. And I heard a voice saying that, you know what, the only way you will get through this year is on your knees and crying out to God. I went home crying because I was so ashamed that I had betrayed God. I had betrayed the one person who was there for me. I remember I had a conversation with Satan that day. Even though I could not see him, but I spoke directly to him. I told him that the hold he has over my life was over. I told him that his mind games will no longer prevail over my life. And I remember reading Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. It spoke about the thoughts that you feed yourself. If you tell yourself that you're a failure, you will fail. If you tell yourself that the situation is impossible, it will be impossible. But if you tell yourself that you have God, then you have everything. So after that, I decided to have stubborn faith, and I stood by it because it was my only option. On my last paper, I literally went to the board that said the University of Johannesburg, and I said, I will not see you again. The next time I come back is when I fetch my honors, and that's what happened. Fast forward to today, in my obedience in trusting God and tithing. He has blessed me with the life he had promised me. Every day I declared Jeremiah 29 verse 11 over my life, and it was so. I passed my honors in accounting. God made me break generational curses in my family, and I became the first child to obtain an honors degree. I have recently passed my psycho board exam in March, which was very hard. I have a career that I love, And on my 5th day of working at my firm, the CEO already knew my name and asked me for a promotion. At the age of 22, I was already promoted and traveling across South Africa. And this is all because I lived in the obedience of God and the calling over my life.
Come on, put your hands together. Doesn't matter what the age, favor is favor is favor.